Martin Guptill hit the biggest score of the first round of matches to date as he and Paul Borrington put on an undefeated 213 runs to put Derbyshire in a good position at the end of the penultimate day of their LV County Championship match against Northamptonshire in Derby. The first job for the home side was to remove the final Northamptonshire wickets. They resumed on 241 for 7, trailing on first innings by 45, and Chaminda Vaas was still hopeful of earning his side a first innings lead. But the innings was over inside the first 10 overs of the morning. Mark Foote found the edge of James Middlebrook's bat to have him caught behind for 45, having begun the day on 40. Tony Palladino then did for Lee Daggett, Guptill the catcher in the slips. And when Jack Brooks was well held by Wes Durston again off Palladino, Northants had been dismissed for 264 to trail on first innings by just 22. So as Guptill and Borrington began their second innings, there was very little to choose between the two sides, and both batsmen needed the help of Lady Luck early on. Conditions were absolutely ideal for the seamers, and batting was a fraught occupation as Guptill was discovering. Indeed, only 20 runs were conceded in the first 20 overs, and Borrington was given a life when an edge off the excellent Brooks was spilled in the slips by Alex Wakely. Guptill's innings also wasn't a chanceless one. He should have been taken at mid-wicket, but Northamptonshire were finding the chilly conditions difficult in the field. As the afternoon wore on, both batsmen, especially Guptill, found life a little more comfortable. The signs of a class batsman is one who can battle through the hard times and then make hay when things get that much easier, and that's exactly what Guptill was able to do here. Not that it was all plain sailing for the New Zealander. On another day, this inside edge off David Willey would have gone crashing into the stumps. Borrington was watchful throughout his innings. He wasn't given too many opportunities to score freely. This a rare bad ball from Willey. This was not an innings filled with drives and pulls, but nudges and glances, which for an opening batsman are just as important and just as priceless. Vaas was convinced that he had Guptill LBW, the batsman shuffling across his stumps, but according to the umpire there'd been an edge onto the pads. And Vaas was again close to finding the edge of Borrington's blade. Derbyshire hadn't had much luck with the ball themselves, and now it was a turn for the visiting attack. A thumping cut shot though through the covers took Guptill to his hard-working 50. He'd needed 90 deliveries to get there, this being the 7th 4 of his tough innings. Yes, it may have been difficult at times, but Derbyshire were being rewarded for their efforts. Guptill swept Middlebrook into the distance for a maximum to bring up the 100 in the 39th over. As the Sun tried to put his hat on, Guptill increased his own rate of scoring with some confident stroke play. He struck Willey for successive boundaries as this partnership became a telling one in this match. The ball had stopped moving in the air and off the pitch as much as it had done earlier, and Guptill was beginning to enjoy himself in the middle, as batsmen tend to do when they're scoring runs. What Northamptonshire couldn't afford to do was to let any opportunities slip by, but that's what Wakely did when he dropped Borrington, who was on 42 at the time. Guptill, meanwhile, was making Northamptonshire pay for the let-offs. This firm pull shot took him to within one of his superb century. And 2 balls later, he got to 3 figures for the 6th time in his career, and it was the 2nd for Derbyshire. He required 135 balls, no mean feat given the circumstances, in which he'd struck 1 6 and 11 4s. It was an excellent example of how to bat properly in an age when a quick fix seemed to be the norm. Guptill had left Borrington well behind, but that was no concern for the player trying to make a name for himself in the Derbyshire lineup. He was still at the crease in the 53rd over when this edge off Brooks brought him to his half-century from his 176th delivery. It was an innings which showed the powers of his ability to concentrate hard for long periods. Guptill had yet another life before the close. On 108 and looking for a big shot off Middlebrook, he was dropped in the deep by the luckless substitute fielder, Konda Langer. And before bad light ended the day 15 overs early, he and Borrington had brought up their 200-run stand to put their side in the box seat in this match. Derbyshire ended the day on 213 without loss to lead by a handy 235. They will now look to press on the final morning with Guptill on 131 12 away from his best score for the county, and Borrington on 66. They will then look to set a target and hope that, for once in this match, the bowlers have some fortune.